Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the world's #1 electric shaver, the Remington. Now, let's all play What's My Line?
And now let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular columnist whose voice of Broadway appears in the New York Journal-American and papers coast to coast, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
On my left, the charming young humorist who stars in his own television show here in New York 5 times a week and who really needs a woman around the house to tie his tie, Mr. Steve Allen.
I'd like to thank all the folks who sent me ties last week. They're all Scotch taped on tonight, and nothing will fall off. On my left now, one of the lovely ladies of radio and television who is very big, especially right now on television. She has shows on all 3 networks. Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you, Steve. And on my left, the publisher of Random House, the Modern Library books, a columnist, a lecturer, a bon vivant. My Lord, what's left? It's Bennett, Cerf.
Well, I think panel moderators are a dime a dozen these days, but the one on the left, in our opinion, is not only the cleverest, but the handsomest, John Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. It's Sunday night, and some folks have come to visit us and brought with them some occupations. We think the occupations are going to be a little bit tough on the panel. We certainly hope so. We also hope that our guests have a lot of fun with their occupations and with us. We'll have a famous guest challenger a bit later, but let's let our experts now meet the first challenger whose job has to be spotted. Will you sign in, please, sir? William K. Murphy, right, sir? Where are you from, Mr.
Douglaston, Long Island.
Douglaston,
Yeah.
Long Island. Well, then you're practically neighbor to all those people over there, but I don't think they've had a chance to get a good look at you, so would you walk over and let them see you, please? All right, Mr. Murphy, over here now, if you will, and sit down next to me, and the panel gets one free guess because they have had a chance to look at you in that firm and authoritative handwriting of yours over there. We always begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think he's a baseball coach.
A baseball coach, Mr. Allen.
I think Mr. Murphy and his mother make chowder.
Miss Fetch.
I think Mr. Murphy makes the overalls for Mother's chowder.
Mr. Cerf.
Hey, Mr. Murphy's a brother of a fellow who used to pitch for the Yankees.
Well, I'm glad you're not as hungry as the other two were, but none of you are right. So we'll let our viewers at home have a further look at Mr. Murphy, and at the same time, we will tell them what his line is. Well, Mr. Murphy, the panel has to dig. Are you familiar with our scoring technique here, the flipping of the cards department? Would you come in a bit closer and just relax and take it easy now, because we will tell them only that you are self-employed. And then we'll begin the general questioning with Steve Allen.
Is there a product connected with your work, sir?
Yes.
Aside from being decorative, that matter aside for the moment, as your product may or may not be, is it a useful product?
Useful? Yes.
Mm-hmm. Can it be used by men and women?
Yes.
Can it be found in the home?
Yes.
Might it be found in the living room?
Yes.
Might it also be found... Might it also be found in the bedroom?
Yes.
Moves around. Is there metal in it at all?
Yes.
Is this a sort of a happy product? Does it make life more enjoyable? Are there perhaps millions of these in use right now while this very program is on the air?
Could be.
Does this have any moving parts?
Yes.
Do you plug it in any way?
Pardon?
I say, is it plugged in to anything?
Is it plugged into anything?
No.
No, I don't think we can plug it in. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Pratt.
Is it larger than Steve Allen's bread box?
I haven't seen his bread box, but I think it's...
Oh, I'll tell you about it. It's about that big. It's larger than that. Could you sit on this object?
Yes.
Is it ever used to be sat on?
Yes.
Could you lie on the object?
Yes.
Would it be comfortable that way?
Yes.
Is it in the bed family in any way, or the couch family?
Yes.
Is it a couch?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Murphy, there's a bed called Murphy Bed. Have you got anything to do with that?
Yes.
Well, if you're self-employed, you're the kid himself.
He's the kid himself. He manufactures Murphy beds. In fact, I think you are the son of the man who designed the first Murphy bed.
That's right, yes.
Are they the ones that go up into the wall?
That's right. You lie down in them.
Pardon
and
the
And
family.
you disappear?
Oh, wait a minute. No.
That's only on television.
Oh, we can't take the onus of that. They did it in the movies,
first.
Yeah, sure. Well, I must say, Mr. Murphy, this is not adequate to your good appearance upon our program. So we'll flip a few more cards, and I think perhaps next time we'll call you Mr. Wyzanski or something like that. And we might be able to lead him astray further. But thanks for being a guest on What's My Line. Nice to see you. All right, panel, a very good beginning. Let's see what you can do with another challenger. Will you sign in, please, ma'am? Mrs. Horace Burright. Is that right? Mrs. Horace Burright. And where are you from, Mrs. Burright?
I'm from Oregon, Illinois. It's my home, but I'm from Cicero.
You're from Oregon, Illinois, but right now you're living in Cicero, which is outside of Chicago somewhere. Is that so? Well, over there are 4 Manhattanites. Well, they live about, actually, Mr. Cerf is up in Westchester, Miss Francis is in Oregon. So, you see what I mean? But they want to get another look at you, a close look at you. So would you take a hike over there in front of them, please?
Hello.
All right, now, Mrs. Burright, if you come over here, please, and sit down next to me, we'll let them have one free guess as to what your line is. Then we'll put them to work. We'll always begin our free guesses with Dorothy Kilgallen.
I think she makes frozen donuts.
Makes frozen donuts, Mr. Allen.
Judging by her handwriting, I think she writes prayers on the heads of pins.
Miss Francis.
I think she's head of a friendship club.
Mr. Cerf.
Well, Cicero, I would say Mrs. Burright makes machine guns.
Makes No, I'm afraid not. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Mrs. Burright. And at the same time, we'll tell them what her line is. All right, Mrs. Burright, do you know how we score with these things here? Every time you say no properly to a question, I flip a card. You see, 10 no's and you've won the game. All set? Yeah. All right, Mrs. Burright is salaried. Let's begin the general questioning with Miss Kilgallen.
Mrs. Burright, may we just rule out anything like trapeze artist or shortstop or anything like that? Oh, no. We can't rule that out?
Yes, you can rule out the trapeze artist and the shortstop, yes.
All right, well, I'm relieved already.
At least right now, Mrs. Burright is not a shortstop.
Do you work for a profit-making organization? Do they, in fact, try to make quite a lot of profit?
Who doesn't?
Is there a product involved in what you do?
No.
That's 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
Do you work indoors?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
You work outdoors?
Well,
Sort of. Sort of outdoors?
In the doorway, I guess.
Is there anything entertaining about your job, Mrs. Burright?
Oh, I think so.
Do people ever watch you at work?
Yes.
they would watch her at work, yes. I mean, there's an interesting aspect to what she does.
What she does?
Mm-hmm.
Do you wear any kind of clothes other than the sort of thing you wear now in your job?
No.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mrs. Burright, pardon me, I'm not prying into your fairs, but is there any gambling of any kind mixed up in what you do?
Gambling?
Betting?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Would it have anything to do with horse racing?
I'll have to have a conference. I don't know, Bennett.
What kind of a parlor is that?
No.
No, that's 4 down and 6 to go. It does not have to do with horse racing.
Does it have anything to do with any kind of racing? Well, does it have anything to do with, is there a track involved?
A truck?
A track.
Oh, a track. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Something goes around the track?
Something does go around it, doesn't it? Yes.
And the object is for one thing to arrive ahead of all the rest?
That is the general idea, isn't it, Mrs. Burr?
Is a mechanical object used to help these creatures, whatever they are, race?
I would say this, that a mechanical object is used, yes.
Well, are these animals of some sort, if they're not horses?
Actually, animals are involved, aren't they?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Well, are the animals doing the racing?
Yes, I would think they are, wouldn't you?
Are they four-legged animals?
Yes.
Are they doggies?
No, they're not doggies. That's 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Allen.
They're not horses and they're not dogs and they're still racing?
You're on a presumption now which has not been set down as fact.
Four-legged.
Well, that's all right. Four-legged animals.
Could we have a conference?
You may have a conference. 15
Maybe the
seconds.
animals
Racing,
pull
sir.
something.
Racing
Harness
isn't...
racing.
Well, those are horses.
Well, harness.
You mean they're getting us on a technicality like that? That a
wouldn't
harness
put
race?
any
Maybe it's a
Fair
frog
game.
race or
Well,
What else races?
rabbits.
Oh, boy, I'm in a complete fog here. And I used to live near Cicero, too, so I'll be in bad trouble.
Tortoise?
Boy, it's give-up time, and I'm here to celebrate it. I don't know what the heck we're doing.
All right, Mr. Allen passes Miss Francis.
May I ask if there is anything attached to the animal?
Yeah.
There is something attached to the animal.
Yeah.
You said we were off the track. You didn't mean that literally,
No,
of course. It is a track.
Yes. Oh, I said it was
They
a
run
fact.
on
I
a
said
track.
that you had a presumption which was not based on fact.
We had a presumption that was not based on fact.
Right.
Is the animal in anything?
You mean, is it contained in something?
Uh-huh.
No, I'm afraid not. 6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Well, Mrs. Bright, maybe we're being confused by all the verbiage here. Is a four-legged animal involved in the actual racing?
Yes.
It is?
Yes.
Is it harnessed to something? We've gotten that, isn't it? Haven't we?
It is harnessed to something.
Is the animal any relation of the horse?
Yes, it's a relation of the horse.
Is it a horse?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yes, it is a horse.
Well, could it be this harness racing that is...
That's what it is. It's harness racing.
No, I didn't.
No,
I
you said
dog.
harness racing when you had your conference, but nobody asked a specific question
Oh, well,
about
we're
harness
mad,
racing.
of course.
Now
Well,
you've
I
got
now
the racing.
ask it.
It is harness racing. Now all you have to do is to find out what it is Mrs. Burright does at harness racing.
Mrs. Bard, you're not going to tell me you drive one of these things.
No. 7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, I'm not very familiar with this, but if there's betting involved, do you have anything to do with the betting?
No.
No, huh?
8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Allen.
You don't drive that Buick that wins the first lap, do you?
9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you own any harness races? Any harness horses? Any horse and buggies? Are you an owner?
But that is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about a specific assignment.
Well, she raises them and trains them and washes them
Well,
and curries them and...
Let's flip it. That's
Oh,
10
well.
down. No more to go. Mrs. Burritt is the official racetrack timer at Sportsman's Park
Oh.
in Chicago. Now, I want to make, because I don't want you to think I've been unfair. The question on the horse was initially asked in this guise. Is it horse racing? And we said no, because it isn't. It's harness racing, a differential term in everyday use. And nobody came back and said, well, is it a horse? You see? So you got the whole works. You have fun, too? No. Good. We're very happy. Thanks for being our guest.
Have you got any tips for tomorrow?
Got any tips for tomorrow? Thanks very much. In just a moment, we'll meet tonight's Miss. And now we come to the regular special feature of our show, the appearance of our mystery celebrity. My friends in the panel have blindfolds just for this part of the program. Are they all in place, panel?
Yes, sir.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we dispense with the sort of preliminaries and get right down to the general questioning, which we will begin with Miss Arlene Francis.
Are you in the entertainment business?
I consider myself a participant, yes.
Well, good. Are you in pictures?
Yes.
Have you been in the theater?
Briefly, yes.
And have you been in television?
Barely, honey.
Well, you've covered the field.
Mm-hmm.
Are you playing in a picture at the present time that has been released and is playing in New York?
Yes.
Are you an ingenue?
No, dear, not anymore.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Would it be rude to ask, were you an ingenue in the very recent past?
That's kind, sir, honey child, but quite a long time ago.
Quite a long time ago.
Yes.
But since you didn't cover a specific period of time in your question, Mr. Cerf, and I refuse to believe that this can be so, continue in your way of going.
You say you were on the Broadway stage briefly?
In several plays, yes. Several flops and a couple of successes, yes.
This is a very familiar voice to me. I have a vague idea I know you personally. Do I know you personally, besides seeing you on screen and on stage?
Well, sugar, not nearly enough. Not nearly enough.
Not really enough.
Have you got a husband?
What did she say?
Was the answer yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Would this husband be a scoundrel who promised to take pictures of my children for about 4 years and finally turned up at the end of that time to do it?
Now, Bennett. That's awful
I do know who it is, and I'm going to pass because I know this girl and love her very dearly.
All right, Bennett's going to pass. Let's see what Miss Dorothy can do.
Well, now I'm really confused. If I had any theories, they're gone now.
Tell you what you do, Dorothy. Say you know her and pass, too.
All right.
I really do, Steve.
I know this lady, and she's so charming, I want her to be on camera a long time, so I'm going to pass to Steve.
All right, Mr. Allen.
I've known this girl since she was we used to romp through the honeysuckle together. And I know her almost as well as I know Bennett, what's his name? Cerf. So I passed because on grounds of general stupidity.
And I think that the only person that really knows who this is Bennett Cerf. He ought to be allowed, now that we've gone around once, to tell himself who it is.
This is a girl who played in Claudia once upon a time, isn't it?
Yes,
And his
you're
lovely
right.
name is Dorothy McGuire.
Right. Very nice going, panel. Now let's see what you can do with the final challenger. We will get the challenger to come out, please, through the curtain and sign in, please. Yeah. What? Oh, what's that? What is this?
Zita.
Zita D. Landy, is that right? Good. First of all, Miss is it? Miss Landy, would you tell us where you're from?
Forest Hills, New York.
Forest Hills, New York. Well, you're a neighbor. I think time is so short, I would just ask you to look at the panel, let them look at you, then you come over and sit down with me, will you? All right, the panel has had a quick look at you, and we will now give them the one free guess that they get in every round. We begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
Nightclub singer.
Nightclub singer, Mr. Allen.
I think she almost designs off-the-shoulder gowns.
Miss Francis.
I think she's a palmist.
A palmist, Mr. Cerf.
I think Miss Landy makes the blintzes at Landy's restaurant.
Oh, no. Nobody has it right. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Miss Zita Landy. At the same time, we will tell them what her line is. All right, Miss Landy, you know how we score with the cards here. We flip them and that sort of thing. Miss Landy is salaried. Let's begin the general questioning with old Bennett Shaw.
Miss Landy, did I detect just a suspicion of an accent in your voice?
Yes.
Is it French?
Yes.
Is your work the sort of work that we might expect a lovely young French lady to be engaged in?
You're opening a large can of beans here. You can get yourself the quickest little old no with that large question. You want to rephrase?
Do you do your... Yes, I'll drop it entirely.
All right, fine.
Do you do your work in the metropolitan area?
Yes.
Is there a product involved in it?
Yes.
Is it an attractive product?
Yes.
Is it a product that would be found in the house?
Yes.
Might it be found in any special room of the house?
No.
No. That's 1 down and 9 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Would this product be used by women?
Yes.
Or could it be used by men at all?
Yes.
Would women use it perhaps more than men?
Perhaps.
Is it anything that ever touches the person?
Yes.
Is it something other than apparel?
Yes.
Is it applied to the person?
You mean something pasted on or rubbed on or something like that?
Could I rephrase the question?
Sure. Go right ahead. A rephrase.
Is it anything that you would take out of whatever it's sold in and put on some part of your body?
Small conference, please.
I knew I'd give him his golden opportunity.
Could be, yes.
It could be. Is this used externally more often than internally?
It's used externally more often, yes.
Is it liquid rather than solid?
Liquid rather than solid. That's 2 down and 8 to go. Mr. Allen.
Then it's solid that you, can you apply it right to the skin? Why don't you try it once and see how it turns out? You'll be glad you did. I heard that on the radio.
I think because it might be misleading, Steve, to give you a yes answer, we'll give you a no answer. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Francis.
So that you don't apply it directly to the skin, well, can you apply it to the hair on the top of the head?
I believe it has been applied to the hair.
You can.
Yes, I believe it has been.
You can?
Mm-hmm.
Could it in any way change the color of the hair?
No, I don't think so. 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Cerf. Time for about 2 questions.
Could this be something you would wear, Miss Landy, rather than apply?
Yes.
Might it be something very valuable, like a gold, like precious jewels or gold or something of that sort?
Well, it could be something valuable, yeah.
Or would it be found in a jewelry store?
Yes.
Bennett, I think you're on the trail, but unhappily our time is gone. I've got a real shock for you all because this lovely Miss Landy is a diamond buyer for Van Cleef and Arpels. We'll be back in just... And now, until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Dorothy.
Good night, Steve.
Good night, Dorothy. Good night, boys, and good night, Arlene.
Good night, Bennett.
Good night, Dorothy's husband, John Swope, and good night, John Daly.
Good night, Bennett's wife, Phyllis, and thanks, everybody, and good night to everybody, and Well, thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production. In association with the CBS Television Network.